Okay, so I'm gonna do the drawing demonstration about 1 point perspective, and this PDF was attached to your lecture, so please print this out. It's much easier for you to draw when you have a paper next to you. So I'll use this as a sample and I'm gonna draw. So you can literally turn in the drawing that you do with me today as an exercise. And if you get confused, just look at the handout and then just try to copy it. I'm just going to show you the process of how to construct the drawing here. Okay, so we are talking about 1 point perspective, right? Okay, here. And I'll try to draw this 1 and 2 and 3 here. It's very simple. It's just the cubes in a different eye level. Okay, so first what you need to do, you want to use the ruler. This is your paper, right? And you place it, and I want you to set up the horizon line, okay? And just to keep your drawing very simple, you want to draw the horizon line, and it's always good to put the little notation here. So horizon line or the eye level. This is sort of in the middle. Don't put it too high or too low because then it becomes very acute, and we're not so used to seeing things in an acute perspective. It becomes dynamic, but to make it simple, I want you to create the horizon line maybe in the middle of the papers. Okay, so like that. All right, now then again, for the sake of simplicity, you want to put the vanishing point in the center of the page. Vanishing point can be anywhere on the horizon line, right? But it has to be somewhere at the horizon line. You can't place it somewhere here or here random because it doesn't work, right? But if it's on the horizon line, it could be here, it could be here, it could be anywhere. It just indicates where you're standing. So I'm actually standing. My setup is like a standing in front of the paper in the middle, so I can see a lot, right? Okay, so here's where I'm standing. This is my vanishing point, okay? And constructing the cube in 1 point perspective is very simple. I'm going to draw something just like in the handout. So first what you want to do is to draw the square like so, right? Remember the 1 point perspective, the frontal view, it remains as a parallel to your drawing paper, which is this is your paper, right? So it's just like a regular square, right? And then rest of the plane recedes away from you, so the one in the top, the one on the side, and try to use the dotted line for this practice, and always use the ruler for now. When you do like a quick comic drawing, you do a lot of it, you have to draw fast. Sometimes you just like aim to the vanishing point. Ruler definitely slow you down, but for the first time, I want you to understand where the vanishing point is and then where the plane's receding away from you. So please use the ruler. Your drawing should show a trace of the use of the rulers. Okay, so don't do the freehand drawing yet. This is a conceptual drawing, so I want you to just eyeball it, decide kind of, the depths that you think it's going to be. This, you can use it here, over here, over here. I want them to look like a cube, so I just decided here. A lot of students ask questions like, how do I decide the depth? You decide anywhere you want, because we're not actually measuring the furnitures or the bed and then place them in a particular setting. when you do something like the very detailed mechanical drawing, you need to set up it differently. But this, we're trying to just make up the drawing. It's a conceptual drawing, so you don't need to worry about that. So just eyeball it. You can decide the depth here, right? And then I want you to make it transparent. What do you mean? So visualize the back of the plane, and I draw the dotted line from the corner. Remember, the vertical remains parallel, right? Here, 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 here. They all remains parallel, right? To your paper. So here I have the line that intersect. So this is the bottom plane, top, sides, and this is the front. So this is the 1 point perspective below the eye level. Remember, the horizon line indicates the placement of your eye, right? So this is the height of your eyes, okay? So you should see the top of the cube because you're looking down, right? So that's number one here. Number two is at the horizon line, meaning you're at the eye level, right? So you don't see the top and bottom, you see the sides and the front. This one above the eye level, so you're looking up the cube, so you see the bottom, right? So you don't see the top. So let's just practice here. Okay, so at the eye level, I'm going to construct the cube like this. Try to draw neat as possible. Okay, so I'm going to erase the horizon line here because it looks a little bit cleaner, right? And then from the four corners, you're supposed to draw the dotted line. This is the receding planes. Remember, it recedes away from you, right? Like that. And then from here towards the vanishing point, because there's only one vanishing point for 1 point perspective, right? Okay, so I have guidelines, right? How do you decide the depth? You decide where you want it, right? So I just randomly decided, okay, it's around here. And you solidify the dotted line because this is the side of the cube in 1 point perspective. Great. Okay, now just to practice, you want to make this as a transparent box, so see-through box, right? Okay, so from the corner here, I'm going to remember the edges remains parallel, right? So dotted line intersect here. From here, dotted line intersect here. Remember, this is all parallel, right? So these two intersect, and there you go. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be a dotted line. Okay. Like so. Okay, so this is your cube at the eye level. So because it's at the eye level, you only see the sides in the front. You don't see the top and bottom. We see it because we made it transparent. Okay, the one on the top. Okay, this one, it might be a little bit difficult because you don't really see something that's floating in the sky. But why not, right? Because we're making somewhat like a playful surreal drawing. So here, again, the frontal view doesn't distort, so it's a regular square from the each corners, right? If you cannot do the dotted line, at least draw very, very light so that these are the line that goes back to the vanishing point, right? Okay, So remember the depth you decide. So I'll just decide it. Okay, so this is a good depth for me. Solidify the edge. Remember the lines are parallel, right? So like this. Oops. Okay, like that. So here's my box above the eye level, and I need to make this transparent. So I'm trying to make the top and the back. You notice that sometimes the line doesn't necessarily intersect, and that's because I'm not drawing pretty accurately. Sometimes if your pencils are too round, or if the parallel lines are not quite parallel, then you started to see these discrepancies, and the line's supposed to intersect at a certain point, but it doesn't. So try to draw very slow and accurately. So this is your 1, 2, 3, okay, and a handout. So go ahead, practice, and we continue. I'll stop the video for now and continue the rest.